It will be mostly clear with a low of 28. With the AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
This Hall of Fame residency program interview is presented by Novartis. And this segment of the Kenny and JT Show is driven by Akron Auto Auction, a driving force in the industry. Check them out at akronautoauction.com. It is Friday the 13th. Normally, that's bad news for people, right? They're afraid of Friday the 13th. We embrace Friday the 13th on the Kenny and JT Show. Why? Because it means usually on a Friday in February, March, April, we're getting a Hall of Famer in studio with us as part of the Hall of Fame residency program. And today, that Hall of Famer from, my goodness, the class of 2007, one of the best to ever carry the pigskin in high school, college, and the NFL, the Terminator, Thurman Thomas, joining us today. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Absolutely. Still kind of freezing a little bit since I got back from California. But, I got back from California Wednesday. Tuesday night, drove up here Wednesday, and boom, it's right back at it, but happy to be here.
How is it possible that you were inducted in 2007? Where did that time go?
I have no idea.
It doesn't seem possible.
I was just talking to, my family about it the other day, and then I get here, and I'm talking to Jim Porter and everybody about, I'm going on 20 years. I'm like, where the hell did they go?
Right.
And I usually come back, since I've been back, I get inducted in 07. I've probably missed two.
Okay.
Since coming back. One that I wasn't feeling well, and the other one was my good friend Emmett Smith was going in that year, but my daughter was also graduating from the University of Florida. So, and that's where he graduated from. He was like, okay, I understand now. Yeah, if she was graduating from somebody else, yeah, exactly. She's a Gator. So he was like, okay, I understand. Yeah, you're off the hook. So, but yeah, it's been going on 20 years, and I just don't know where the time went, really.
I always go back and I look at the films of either if it's a football life and we prepare for the residency interviews, but I like to go back and I like to look at the induction speech. Yeah. And when I see the induction speech, the presenter, Marv Levy, and he's still with us. I mean, talk a little bit about where else would you rather be than right here, right now, and what that meant.
Well, I tell you what, the first time I heard it, because he was saying it before I even got there, right? The first time I heard him say it, I was like, California on the beach, I mean, it was cold, right? I mean, it was cold. I was like, I don't want to be right here right now. And that was probably like my rookie year. I'm a rookie. I'm like, I spent all this time away from home. I'm like, I'm kind of ready for the season to be over, like college, but I'm like, but I'm in the National Football League. Like, we can, and we're good. We're a young team. We could probably go to the Super Bowl. So, when he said that, I was like, man, I want to go to the beach, play some golf, right? Just hang out a little bit, drink some beers. But I understood it later on, what it meant, to say those, it's the greatest game in the world, right?
Yeah.
And you're a team who, at that point, we're kind of like on the rise. We didn't kind of know that we were going to eventually end up going to 4 Super Bowls or whatever. We were young, and Jim was kind of going into his prime because he came from the USFL. Right. And so, we had all these group of guys, man. Bruce was the first pick of the draft, and you had Darryl, you had Cornelius, who got traded to us on Halloween night in 1987 to the Bills, and that took away their first-round draft pick, which in 1988, I became their first pick in the second round, the 40th pick. So, man, just say since I've been here in town, I've been talking about it, and it just brings back a lot of good. Like people say, you lost 4. So what? I still got a lot more memories that people don't know about, and where I'm at in my life, and all this other stuff. Everybody wants to win a Super Bowl, right? Not everybody can, right? Some of the greats, I can put a list together, quarterback, who would it be besides Jim?
Marino.
Dan Marino,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
I say, give me 2 wide receivers, T.O. and Randy Moss. I mean,
and Randy was on a New England team that
was
didn't
undefeated.
win.
Right, exactly, right. So, I mean, and people just don't want to, and look, I'm not feeling sorry for myself, but it's hard. It's hard to get to 1. I talked to Warren Sapp, he was in 4 or 5 NFC championship games.
Right.
He only made 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He was like, it was the toughest thing because, you want that to be your best game, but you want the following week to be your best game, and he said it just wasn't good enough for us to advance, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to go back to the draft. I remember it. I remember that, you fallen because of the surgery and everything. And, they were talking about the Thurman Thomas. So look at all the numbers he put up in college. How is he still available? Well, the surgery teams were scared off. And I thought about it then differently than I do now. Now I look at it and I go, how lucky were you to fall to the second round because the Bills didn't have a first round pick.
Right.
And then you become the feature back in the K-gun offense and you end up going to force. It's funny how things work out, and that couldn't have worked out any better for you, right?
And probably end up going in the first round somewhere high. Went to a team that was nowhere near close to even making it to the playoffs. At least I was going to a team that had something.
Right.
Bruce, Jim, Darryl, Cornelius. I mean, Andre Reed. I mean, they had something instead of me going to, Atlanta or somewhere. I mean, who am I out there with Atlanta with? Like, I can't even name a player back in 1988 who they had, right?
Right.
I mean, seriously, you just didn't know. And the first one that comes to mind is probably Andre Rison.
Bad Moon.
Right? And I'm like, but still, who was the quarterback? Had no idea, right?
Maybe
idea.
Jeff George. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Right. I couldn't tell you, but it would not have been.
Right.
I don't think I would have had the success that I had I went to another team, and so it was a perfect fit, for me. Being a small town out of Houston, Texas, small town, Stillwater, Oklahoma, and then going to Buffalo. I'm like a little colder, but I get it, and I just fell in love with the place. I still live there, and it's absolutely awesome.
Guess who made the pick? Who was in charge of making that pick for Thurman in the second round?
It would be Bill Polian.
How about that?
It would be Bill Polian,
Hall of Famer. Bill Polian, Hall of Famer. Thurman Thomas, Hall of Famer. I mean, thinking back on it, it's pretty crazy now when you think back, right?
It is pretty crazy. And the thing about it that I had the complications of my knee coming out of college, and they were going into the first round. They were ending the first round. So when the second round started, Buffalo actually got a call from Elijah Pitts, who was a running back coach for the Bills, but he was the one that scouted me. He was the one that scouted me at Oklahoma State. And so when the first round was over, I get a call from Eli, like, hey, I say, look, I'm trying to get these guys. I'm trying. They're going to take you at 40. I'm begging them that they're going to take you on 40. I'm throwing my pitch to them. So, you get to the second round, you still got some picks to go or whatever. Like, geez, that's a lot of picks, from Buffalo. I'm like, I'd like to be like the second or third one coming, out of the draft, like pick number 34 or something, right? So I dropped all the way down, and the conversation goes with Mr. Wilson and Bill Polian. Like, look, we have a chance at Thurman if he drops. If we think he's going to drop down to us, and we told you about the complication of his knee. He can play 15 years or he can play 2 years, right? That's just kind of how we're looking at it. And Mr. Wilson, in his owner voice, goes, life's a gamble. Let's take him.
Unbelievable.
Life is a gamble. Let's take him.
Wow.
And that's how I became a Buffalo Bill.
Well, he also gambled on Jim Kelly as well, though, didn't he? Because I went back, and like I was talking about, I like to watch this. It's a Football Life, and it's a documentary, and you can see them. And there's a lot of them on the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. I couldn't get yours to come up. But what I did get was the Jim Kelly It's a Football Life. And I'm watching Jim Kelly, as you mentioned, he comes out of the USFL. Ralph Wilson has to make up his mind because I believe at the time you're allowed to hold on to a guy's rights 4, maybe 5 seasons.
Right.
They held on to Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
And these are the things that lead to the Buffalo Bills, in my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, making them a great team. Jim Kelly 1, Bill Polian 2, and then all of a sudden these drafts fall into line because had they not made the trade, and then you wouldn't have fallen, you'd have been the second round pick, number 40 overall, 1988. That team takes off.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how they put that thing together and they were able to sustain it.
Bill Polian was a genius.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, he pulled that trade off with the Colts to get Cornelius, Halloween night, and, even with picking Bruce in 1985 with the first overall pick, 5th round pick, found Andre Reed in the 5th round.
How about that?
Unreal.
Out of Kutztown. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right out of there. Yeah. Nobody ever heard of him.
Never.
Right? Never heard of him.
We had him in here. We still don't know where it is. We still have no idea.
He tried to tell us. We don't know.
Only thing I do know is they named the field after him. That's about all I know. And and just the pieces of the puzzle, and Like they had like a first round pick, Will Wolford from Vanderbilt. Jimmy Richter was a
offensive lineman.
Offensive lineman. He was a guard and out of NC State, and he had won. What's the lineman award that they give to? It's a not. Oh God, I can't even think of that lineman award that what he
college,
got. It's
yeah.
usually the guys that get it. Usually get it from Nebraska,
Right?
Like yeah, all those guys like that. Well, Jimmy Richter and Ken Hall, who played for the New Jersey Generals, came the same year as Jim. And Kent tells the story like when the Bills signed Jim and they signed me at the same day. You know, his was a big fanfare. I was just a guy that was just behind him, just walking in the door. Good old country boy from Mississippi. Yeah, I'm here. I'm with a professional team, and this is going to be my quarterback. You know, and it was great, man. It was great, just how that team was put together, and and you know, but putting a team like that was kind of like the year that we would call the bickering Bills, and it was just, you know, it was just guys just, you know. Like Jim wanted it all. Like Jim was saying some stuff that I didn't appreciate. That a lot of people didn't appreciate about certain teammates, and nobody would say nothing. And I was like, man, somebody got to say something. And it ended up being me. And you know, and Jim's still today one of my best friends ever. Like me and Jim never had a beef, but the beef was kind of thrown in there because I found out Bill Poland. I'm like, Bill. You went weeks without saying anything about Jim saying anything about our former teammates or whatever.
Right.
You know, I'm like, well, somebody got to do it, right? I'm like, well, you know what? I said, I'll do it.
Step up, be the leader. Yeah.
I'm being a leader,
Absolutely.
right? And so when Jim was out, and I mean, it's just like a perfect Buffalo Bills story. Jim was out. Frank Wright started 3 games. We went 3-0.
Yep.
Jim comes back. He starts 3 games. We go 0-3. I mean, it was like the perfect for me to say, yeah, the quarterback is the problem, right?
That's awesome.
And so that's when it all comes down to, like, you remember the game? I'm sure you guys do. Playing Cleveland here.
Yep.
Cleveland here. We lost 34-30.
Clay Matthews,
right? Yeah, I was killing him that day. Well, I was looking. I was like, Jim, call it again. Jim, call it again.
Can't stop me.
He can't stop me, Jim. Not today. They end up getting a interception at the end of the game. But there's a play in there where they're showing the highlights of what, and guys are holding hands on the sideline. Guys on the team. I'm like, you know, we went from bickering Bills to this. This is holding hands. And following year, that's kind of when he's like, put everything aside and just went to work.
And it worked in a big way.
Yeah.
Happy to have Thurman Thomas in studio with us as part of the Hall of Fame residency program. All right. See, I want you to watch his reaction to this.
All right.
Gaston Green, John Stevens, Lorenzo White, Brad Muster, Craig Hayward, Ickey Woods, and Tony Jeffrey.
Oh, yeah. I could have named them for you.
See, I told you. I told you the 7 running backs that went ahead of you in the draft. You talk about a chip on your shoulder and some motivation. And I told it that nobody even came close to your 12,000. I think the most was maybe Ironhead with 4,300. How much did those guys going ahead of you motivate a Thurman Thomas back then?
Oh, it did. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it did. Especially, you know what, I was given the assumption that, you know, I was going in the first round. You know, I had my home team, the Houston Oilers, talking, you know, to my agent. I had the New Orleans Saints talking to my agent, and the Atlanta Falcons. So 3, and the LA Rams. 4 out of those teams were talking like we're going to take you. Like to this day, I give remember John Robinson?
Yep.
He's coach the Rams. Yeah, like the Rams had the 14th pick in that draft, and they took Gaston Green. And John Robinson went to bat for me. He went to bat for me. And Jim Everett, if you ever talk to Jim Everett, he talks about this all the time. Like, John Robinson wanted you and Michael Irvin. And that year they took Gaston Green and Aaron Cox. He was a wide receiver out of Arizona State. And John Robinson was begging for the owners at that time to take me and Michael Irvin. Like, Michael Irvin was going to be the 14th pick, and they had 2 first-round picks.
Okay.
And there was like 26 or something, right? So it was low, you know, and and they took Aaron Cox. And I was like, I was this close to being a Ram. And that was the same year or whatever that Dixon got traded to the Colts.
Really?
Yep. Traded to the Colts.
Okay.
And so, you know, just funny things, right? Like that was still kind of part of that trade. And it's just.
But 7 Hall of Famers from that 88 class is one of the highest that we've ever had. And out of that class, Tim Brown, Randall McDaniel, Dermontti Dawson, and now you have all been in studio with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Randall McDaniel is a trip.
Oh, he is a trip. Yeah. So then the other two are, oh boy, let me see. Sterling.
Yep. Sterling
Sharp and Eric Allen played defense, the only defensive player. We just, when he got in last year, we talked about that. We were like, oh my God, like it's 7 of us in here now. And so, but just a bunch of great guys, and got another great class coming in here too. You know, I'm like, thank you, Drew Brees, just another Texan going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you know.
Why Oklahoma State for you coming out of Houston?
Oh boy, you really want to know that story, huh? And I'm gonna tell it to you.
Right.
Because coming in, being from Texas, there's only a couple of schools that you go to: University of Texas or Texas A&M, or at that time SMU, which we had just for Craig
Pony
James,
Express.
Pony Express, right? And so, like, I was coming out, and Eric Campbell, my idol, man, he went to Texas, man. So that's obviously where I want to go. So I get to Texas, and this is a true story. So the guy asked me, say, what time do you usually get out of school, your last, where you walk out and get to your car? I said, I usually, bell rings about 2:30, 2:35, I'm out. I said, all right, we're coming to pick you up. Take that back. That was Texas A&M. That's the next story.
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
I got it mixed up there for a little while. I go to Texas, I'm there, I can't even remember who was taking me out that night. No, it was, God, man, boy, you're getting old when you start doing this.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm older than you. I know.
Great. He was a defensive back for the University of Texas, and showing me around or whatever. The head coach is Fred Akers. Fred Akers came from Paducah, University of Texas. Walk into his office and sit down and say, "Hey," I'm like, Thurman, we know that you're great at running back, but we would like for you to play defensive back. I was like, oh, Jerry Gray was the guy who showed me around. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I walked out of there dejected. An 18-year-old just walking out of there going, oh my God, the school that I want to go to want me to play defensive back. Next school I go to, Jackie Sherrill, he's the head coach, I'm figuring like I'm a golden to be a running back because later on that night, I'm eating breakfast with Tony Dorsett. I'm like, there's no way, right? Well, rumor got around that Texas A&M wanted to do the same thing because they had Roger Vick and some other guys that they were, that was their guys, right? And I said, all right, not on there. So I go to my third, which was Oklahoma State. Jimmy Johnson was the head coach.
How about that?
Jimmy Johnson was the head coach, and they had Dave Wanstead, all those guys were there. Yeah, all those guys. And so I go there and I sat down in Jimmy's office and he's like, look, Texas and Texas A&M want you to play defensive back? I said, yeah, coach, that's what they want me to play. He said, look, you can have 34 because that's the number that I want. You can have 34 and you're going to be number 6 on the depth chart. I said, this is where I'm coming.
Wow.
I said, I'm coming here. I'm coming here. So I go take my last couple of visits to TCU and Baylor and just kind of blow it off or whatever because I know I'm going to Oklahoma State. I go to Oklahoma State, and like 2 weeks later after signing, Jimmy goes to the University of Miami.
Are you allowed to get out of it back then? You're allowed to get out of it now.
Yeah, you're allowed to get out of that. I would have had to sit out a year if I would have followed Jimmy
already signed.
Exactly, yeah. And so I was like, well, who they gonna name the head coach? And I was like, they said they're gonna name Pat Jones be the head coach at Oklahoma State. And I met Pat, and Pat was like, short guy about my size or whatever, but he was funny as hell. Like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, this is okay. We're gonna hire this guy to be the head coach. I said, I'm still coming to Oklahoma State. So my first 6 weeks at Oklahoma State, I'm playing special teams. I done moved up to 5th on the depth chart because some guy got hurt. I'm leading a team in tackles, on the kickoff.
Okay.
You know, so I'm like, I already got like a special teams player, Big 8 Player of the Week award for special teams, right?
Unreal.
That's when it's the Big 8.
Yeah.
Right. That's how long ago it
Yeah,
was.
exactly. That's how long ago it was. We're playing Kansas State, in Manhattan. The running back Sean Jones and Charles Crawford were not hitting on. They were bouncing everything out. And Oklahoma State is running guards. It's right between the guards. And Coach Pat Jones come over and said, Thurman, you're in. Coach Shimmick, take him off all the special teams. You got the next series. And I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't see that coming. Ended up finishing the game with 34 carries, 206 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and started for the rest of my career, and here I am.
Like I said, the only guy that could keep Barry Sanders on the bench is sitting right here with us.
Yeah, I taught him everything. Taught him everything. We were roommates his freshman year, my junior year. So I taught him everything. Yeah, exactly.
And how crazy is that too? That you both were there, okay, and you both ended up being top 10 all time in the NFL, and the roommate you had is a teammate in the Pro Football Hall of Fame with you now too.
It's unbelievable. And
him
getting drafted by Detroit, which is only a 4-hour drive if you go through Canada to get from Buffalo to Detroit.
Right.
Man.
And so we're like still like in the same area with each other. And it's been an awesome relationship to have. And the last couple of years, I've taken my son up there. We've been up there, visiting his sons and just going out to it's just been a remarkable athlete and a connection with us now that we were at Oklahoma State and now we're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
27,343 rushing yards between you two, 164 touchdowns in your NFL careers, you and Barry. How about that?
Yeah. I mean, that's it. And that's even crazy to think about because I played 13 and he played 10.
Right.
And got like over 15,000 yards.
You said you would have played longer though if they wouldn't have run you 40 times a game in high
right,
college.
Probably, yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, I mean, because I can remember like my sophomore year in college. I mean, I was, oh my God, like the first 2 games I had like 80 carries. I was dead tired. 40 the first game, and you don't know what kind of shape you're in. Right? But it was 40. I got 40 playing the University of Washington back in 1985 up in Husky Stadium in Washington. It was, Lou Rawls sung the national anthem.
I'm going to ask you about national anthems. I'm going to ask you about a halftime show too, because everybody's still talking. I know we have a few minutes left.
Yeah.
Everybody's still talking about the national anthem. Everybody's still talking about the halftime of the Super Bowl. We're not going to bring up Super Bowls, but you played in the Super Bowl that may be the most iconic halftime show of all time.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Did you catch any of it?
No,
I mean, was it extended? Was it longer than a normal halftime?
Nope.
It was Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I know. You couldn't go. You couldn't go out and watch it. Yeah. So, I mean, the halftime show with Michael Jackson, but I did probably catch the best national anthem with Whitney Houston.
Yes.
So,
you brought that
50-50.
up.
So,
Okay.
50-50. But no, never got to see like any of the halftime shows. Never got to see any of them. Heard a lot of noise, but didn't. Yeah,
so focused though, right? I mean, chasing the ultimate dream.
But it's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I know, right?
He would have been out for the halftime.
Yeah,
well, didn't they say the kicker from Cincinnati snuck out to watch whoever was maybe Beyonce a couple years ago?
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, was
he's a kicker
there,
though.
Yes. Was there, I get it. But was there like more security? I mean, Michael Jackson.
The kid, long snapper, and the punter. Yeah, that's probably the only 3 that got out to watch it because they were like, we ain't got nothing to do with it. Whatever. But no, just kind of like, in that moment, man, knowing that, but I figured like, once your career is over with, you'll be able to see all that stuff. So, when I play football, I just play football. I've gotten to know like a lot of like other athletes in other sports. Like baseball was like my favorite sport growing up. And so I go to a lot of baseball tournaments.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Man, I'm seeing, Ozzie Smith, Ken Griffey Jr., my buddy Roger Clemens. I'm seeing all these guys, and just 2 years ago, I actually run into like Barry Bonds and I'm like, and I noticed him, but he kind of like noticed me. It was like, hey, I was like, oh shit, man.
Starstruck at all?
Man, Bug know who I am. I'm like, oh yeah, starstruck. Oh, big time.
Really?
I couldn't even talk. Talk. I'm like, I mean, 7-time MVP, most home runs, watching his career in Pittsburgh, and then going to the Giants and like that was part of my life growing up because my mom used to send me to Oakland, California. So I got a chance to see Reggie Jackson with the Oakland Athletics.
Wow.
I got to see Willie McCovey his second time around with the Giants, just being in the Bay Area, and watching baseball. It was like the best sport in the world to me.
What position did you play when you were playing baseball?
I played shortstop and leadoff.
Should have known that. Yeah. Best athlete, shortstop and leadoff, right?
I played shortstop and leadoff. And the unfortunate thing about that, the program that I was in, my mom and my stepdad got enough money to afford to move us out of an apartment and move us into our first house, which was in Missouri City, Texas. And they were opening up a new school, and baseball was the only sport that they didn't have.
Oh, of course. Really?
And my mom said, I'm not driving you back 45 minutes, because it was a 45-minute drive, after school and go practice. So I ended up starting playing football. So I guess it all worked out.
I guess
it did.
When you look back on it, funny how that works out, right?
But yeah, I was a baseball player. And
maybe that's why you had such great hands, because when I saw all the videos and I went back and I looked at a lot of tape, and we've got it on. People can't see it on Facebook, but I put a bunch of your highlight reels up on our big screen TV. You're great. You could receive before the NFL, we consider it a copycat league.
Yeah.
And now that all the running backs are an extension of the passing game.
Yeah.
And Kenny mentioned this kick gun.
Yeah.
How many catches, how many passes would come your way during a regular game?
It depends on, how our passing game was running. If Andre Reed was catching passes downfield, then they would double team him.
Right.
And then I would come underneath and do a lot of stuff or take stuff deep or whatever. I mean, I like the most passes I ever caught in the season was 62. Right? I think it was 62.
Yeah, that would have been great on a fantasy.
You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah. And so and that's when kind of like I knew I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing to be in the National Football League. I know I can run the ball. Now they know I can catch the ball. Now they know that I can pick up the blitz. So being a 3-down back all the way down there, a check just like it gives me more opportunities to show everybody what I can do. Right. And say geez, this guy won't get off the field. He's picking up blitzes. He's catching passes down the field.
Highlight reels up.
And that's the type of player that I wanted to be. I wanted to be an all-around player, and I was on the field a lot.
Are you offended if I tell you I don't remember you on the Dolphins?
No, not offended at all.
And I grew up in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Franco finished his career in Seattle.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that. Yeah. I didn't know that till I was studying for you, that your last year was in Miami, right?
Yeah.
What happened with the Bill? Why did the Bills not, make sure you retired a Buffalo Bill?
No, well, that was the problem. They didn't make sure that I retired as a Buffalo Bill. I mean, as close as I was to that organization, as close as I was to Mr. Wilson, who was the owner of the Buffalo Bills at the time, it got to a point in our relationship where he was calling me his stepson.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, when he come out to training camp, we sit over and, my coach would let me go talk to him for, 10, 15 minutes, and I'm missing kind of practice here a little bit, but it's the owner, and he's and I'm talking. So we became really good friends. And I tell the story and people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, I played there for 12 years, and how I found out that I was released, Bruce Smith and Andre. I was sitting down on my couch in Orlando, and it goes across on the ticker that I had been cut. Wow. Yeah, so it was, and I thought I deserved a phone call or something. I just, because if I would have got that phone call, I never would have played for the Dolphins. But I was pissed off.
Sure.
Pissed off to massive festivities, right? just really upset, right? 2 days go by, I get a phone call. I look at the phone, and guess who it is? It's Pat Jones. He's a tight end coach for the Dolphins. Dave Wanstead is a head coach. So I'm like, well, hello, coach. He was like, hey, how you doing? And Coach Jones knew me very, very well. He's like, what happened there? Did you actually really find out on the ticker that you were cut? And he said, yep. and his first words next were, "Boy, that gotta motivate you." Yeah, and I was like, "Oh yeah." Say, give me a couple of days here, and I'll be giving you a call back. And so I did, and I talked to the Raiders at that time, and the Seattle Seahawks. I was like, man, that's too far. I got family in Oakland, might want to go back. That just happened to be the same year of the Tuck rule, right? The Tuck.
Oh my
the Raiders. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if I even go to the Raiders, I'm still like, oh God, it's still happening, right? Right. It's still happening to me, right? What's going on, right? And so I end up signing with the Miami Dolphins, and I pretty much told Dave once, said, like, I don't care what happens during the season. I just want to beat Buffalo twice. That was it. And so we play the first game. It's in Miami. It's the second game of the season. This guy, a little intern, hey, somebody wants to talk to you. I'm like, I'm trying to get dressed. I call him back in maybe in about an hour, get a number or whatever. Nope. Hung up, called or whatever. And I said, look, I'm ready to go to practice here. I got about 30 minutes before practice starts, so I'm ready to go. It comes back the third time and said, it's Mr. Wilson. So Mr. Wilson called. I go talk to him. And, he apologized the week of the game that we're going to play them that the way it went down.
Right.
And, he was – and Mr. Wilson, if you guys don't know him, he doesn't apologize for anything. Because it's his team, it's run his way. He never apologized for anything. And so, we play him. And then I hurt my knee, get a call from him again, like that Monday after we played San Diego, get a call from him and tore my ACL. And he was like, I heard you're going to retire. I said, yeah, I'm going to retire. And he was like, they want you to come down and sign a one-day contract and retire as Buffalo Bill. And after that, it was over. Everything was mended up for me.
Okay.
Because I just think it went down the wrong way.
Right.
Yeah. So, people are like, oh, it's best business. I say, this wasn't just business. This was kind of personal.
Sure.
This was kind of personal. I seen the way Jim Kelly went out. I seen the way a couple of other guys went. I'm like, you know what? This one hurt a little bit. And Bruce and Andre, they were like, no, they're still going to play, no matter what, And so, I talked to them, and I can remember the night that I told Dave Warrenson that I'm going to Miami, and the first person I called Jim Kelly. And no lie, called Jim Kelly, and he just happened to be with Dan Marino, who was thinking about retiring or going to Minnesota, right? I'm like, how can this stuff happen to me like this? And I was like, Dan, can you go for one more year? Can you go, please? But they were like, no. Dan was like, no, they don't want me anymore. So
wow.
So I ended up playing my 8 games or 9 games with the Miami Dolphins, and having my quarterback be Jay Fiedler, who I'm still great friends with today.
See that? So in the long run, it worked out, right?
It worked out.
That's great. Thurman Thomas, unbelievable stories, part of the Hall of Fame residency program, in studio with us on the Kenny and JT show. And you mentioned you come back for the parade and the weekend and everything, but why was it important for you to be a part of this residency program? Because they call guys and they ask, do you want to be a part of it? Yes or no? And if people say no, that's fine. But you said yes. What was it important for you?
Because this is the same stuff that I do in Buffalo. Okay. This is the same stuff me and my wife do in Buffalo. We probably belong to about 100 charities, right? But being that it's only 3 hours and 45 minutes away, easy drive for us. Yeah, no problem. And this is what, about the last 15 years, I've always been doing. This is my home, right? This is my home. Sure. So I want to be in a program like this where I can go out and help. I want to be able to go out and help. And so, it was an easy decision for me and my wife to come up, because she always been a part of the charity stuff that we do in the Buffalo area, and still in Oklahoma, and, some in Houston. And, it's just another extension of my home, and just love it up here.
We appreciate
that's
it.
Awesome.
All the work you do with the Boys and Girls Clubs. It's amazing. And we do as well when we can. And usually during Hall of Fame festivities, they have their super fans come into town, and we always have them. We invite them in, and it's just a great thing. And it's a great cause. And kudos to you for picking that up. And all the work. I read also American Cancer Society. You guys have done so many things.
We've done so many.
Great to pay it forward.
Yeah, we have our Thurman Thomas Family Foundation, which my entire family of 9 kids and 5 grandkids, they're all involved with our foundation, and it's giving back scholarships to Erie Community College back in the Buffalo area.
Nice.
Yeah, we take care of going into your second year. We take care of their full books, everything. We pay for everything because you know, and the reason why we decided to do it is that because, you know, we want to look out for, hey, why is this student has a C in this class, and why is this student missing 5 classes or 6? Well, you know, you go and do your homework and do your research on her. Well, she has a kid at home. Oh, hey,
right.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. So, and she works. So all of her money is going toward this kid, you know, her school, you know, and so we taking that burden off of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, I mean, hey, look, if you're a student, you know, you're probably doing pretty well, right? You probably got a nice little job doing, but if you're one of those students kind of like me, you know, coming through high school, you know, I wasn't going to be an A student. I was going to hang around that BC, maybe. Just didn't get an F, I was okay.
Right,
if I didn't get an F, I was okay. And, you know, back then it was, you know, if you got 70 or below, it was an F, right?
Okay.
Yeah, from my growing up. So, yeah, we've been doing that. We deal with mental health issues in the Buffalo area because our daughter, when she was 18, went through a little crisis and disappeared for hours, and we didn't know where she was.
Wow.
The school called, you know, and said, "Mama, I was out of town, so I'm like really just up in the arms."
Isn't that the worst feeling too?
It's the worst.
Because you can't do anything.
Can't
right?
do anything
as a parent. Yeah.
As a parent, you know, I'm in Florida and she's in Buffalo, and so my wife handled. I kissed like the next flight out, and you know, it's been a part of our lives every single year, especially around this time of year when it gets dark. When it gets dark, you know, and we try to get her to maybe go visit her sister in Charlotte or go visit some friends down in Florida, you know, just to get some sunshine.
It makes a world of difference.
It makes a world of difference. If you're hung up down in a basement, there's no windows, there's no sunlight coming in, and it gets dark in these areas. You know, Cleveland, Buffalo, it gets dark, and people just they just tap out. Yep. And so so that's been really kind of like the stuff that we've been able to pass. I've spent half my life in Buffalo.
Well, you met your wife in Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
She's from Buffalo. That's what's really incredible.
Yeah. We met her second weekend, Oklahoma State. She was a walk-on golfer, freshman. I was a senior. Met, and then I ended up getting drafted by Buffalo. Again, right? I'm like for me, being that's a good thing. That was a good thing, right? But all the kind of stuff, it was a match, and we just, you know, we've going on 31 years of marriage, 39 years together, and did it the opposite. You know, we had babies, then we got married, you know, so, but we love our kids, our grandkids, and just kind of just enjoying life. You know, I'm gonna turn 60 this year, and
welcome to the club. Yeah, we're already there. So welcome to the club,
right? Yeah, and so you know, I'm looking at this number, but to retire and just kind of like spend more time with it. But I was like, at this point in time, I'm like, I can go to 65 and still have time for my family and for my friends or whatever. So I dedicated the last 10 years to, you know, retire. Right. You know, just done. And that's why I've been working my butt off the last, 5 years. You know, we own a construction company. I'm involved with a couple of tech companies.
New stadium you're involved with in a way, right?
Yes,
too?
I am. Yeah. And so, you know, being involved with that, you know, not on a daily basis, but I get updates every week. You know, our guys handling everything over there. And, you know, it's like every other owner that owns a construction company, you know, when they call a meeting, you got to go to that meeting as an owner, you know. So I've been doing that try to stop over there at least once a week. You know, it's crunch time now, you know, for this stadium to be done. They're supposed to, Turner and Gilbane construction companies will put their hand over the keys June 1st.
Nice. Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So it's but you know, one of the things that we've been talking about lately is that, you know, all the memories that are in the old stadium, you know, the Bills have done a great job of really kind of it's coming to an end, you know, and it ended weeks ago, last game of the season, we beat the Jets or whatever. And so all the memories are now, getting ready to be knocked down, right?
Yeah.
And put into this new stadium, right? And I just had the feeling like if anything could go right, and it didn't go right, for the Bills to be opening this stadium with a Lombardi, right? Like that would have been the perfect ending, right? But it didn't happen.
We weren't sure if you wanted to talk about that.
I'm good. I'm good, bro. I am so over all that stuff now.
Okay.
I watch the Bills and I'm usually cut off for the rest of the day.
Okay.
Unless I watch highlights late at night with my son, or he'll come down and say, "Oh my God, did you see such and such?" Or whatever.
Right.
But I'm watching the Bills, win or lose. Nothing's really gonna change from the way I feel.
Okay.
Just I've gotten older.
Right.
I've just gotten older, and just like it's not that I don't care. It's like I don't care about anything else happening outside the Bills.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's kind of how I live my life.
Good
I don't get mad and people talk about the Super Bowls or what's going on now. Why can't 13 seconds and all this stuff? That doesn't bother me anymore. It doesn't bother me anymore because eventually we're going to win one. I think eventually we're going. I don't know when.
Right.
I don't know when,
Right.
but I think eventually we will win one, and we've been close. But all of a sudden you got a Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes in your way.
Right.
It's tough.
It is.
It is tough.
Yeah.
Like, and people were saying like, well, this should have been the Bills' year without Mahomes, Jackson, and Burrow. And I was like, how was it going to be our year? We're the 6th seed.
Yeah.
If them guys are out, we should be the number 1 seed.
Right.
And we weren't.
And
That's a great point.
And the coach is no longer there.
And the coach is no longer there.
Right.
So, people say, so what about the coaches change? I said, you know what? They're going to a different defense. They got to get different players in here. They got to get their coaching staff. I said, you know what? When the schedule come out and I'll look at the first game, then I might say something.
Okay.
They got to go through training camp. They got to go through this whole new way of doing things. And like, okay, you did it, but now the pressure is really on, because if you start 1-3, people are going to be on your butt.
Absolutely.
People are going to be on your butt.
Yeah.
So it's in your hands. Yeah. It's in your hands to make the roster better. Brandon Beane and Joe Brady. I mean, it's their job right now to get the players that can run this 3-4 instead of a 4-3 that they're normally used to. So you're going to have interchanges because guys not used to dropping back in the coverage or whatever, right?
Big difference.
So it's a big difference. So I'm like, I'm just going to hold out until later on, go through the draft and see where they are. Because I don't think at this point, nobody knows. Everybody's excited now. Yeah. But when that schedule comes out and you get popped in the mouth, then what? Then what are you going to do? You're going to go back, oh, we should have kept the other guy. I mean, it's too late. Right. It's too late to do that.
Yeah. Well, Thurman, we could sit here for another hour talk with you, man. It's great. Because we're going to wrap this up on the radio, but before you get out of here, I have 2 football packs from 1989 that you and I are going to open real quick to see if we can find your rookie card.
Oh, my God.
In a pack of football
89.
cards. All right? Yeah, they've been the paper's fallen off, so that's how long it's been. So we'll post that on social media afterwards. But thank you so much for coming into the Kenny and JT show and for coming back to Canton as part of the Hall of Fame residency.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, thanks. It's been a great 2.5 days, and I know they've had a lot of guys that have come and done this, and it's important for us, and it's important to see for the next group of guys that are coming in to let them know what we've been doing. When you get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it's not just wearing around this jacket all the time, man. It's about going out and helping other people in other communities. Like I go and help Derek Brooks out. I go and help a lot of guys out, and that's what it's all about, man.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much. You're welcome back anytime here when you're in town. You want to come shoot the breeze and talk anything, we're here for you.
Hell yeah. Now that I know I got a couple of fans around here.
Yeah, how about that? That's good. The one, the only Hall of Fame class 2007, the Thurminator, Thurman Thomas here on the Kenny